Hello, dear. It's Heather, and you are watching Save Today with Heather J. Today, I'm doing things a little bit differently today. I'm turning everything upside down. I normally work in the afternoon into the evening, and so I film my videos in the morning. This week, my schedule's been a little bit different, and so I am actually filming today later in the evening after work. So my lighting's going to be different, and I don't know how that's really going to impact that. And if it's something that's noticeable and unpleasant, I apologize. I'm working with what I have today. It's also going to be a little bit different because today you're getting a 2-for-1 deal. I'm going to be filming my week 6 spending overview and my Paycheck Number 3 closeout together. And the reason for that is because I don't have a whole lot of transactions in week 6, and so there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about in regards to that video. And I have run out of my June. My June is over and my July has started, so I need to close out my June videos and start my July videos. And so unless I want to not have anything at all, I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. So that's what we're doing today. So again, I've said it in all of my videos. It remains true today. In fact, this paycheck, more so than it has the entire time I've been videoing with you. I am somebody who lives paycheck to paycheck. Things get very tight. Sometimes there are sacrifices that have to be made, and there's not a whole lot to spend. And so we're going to see some of that in today's video. So let's start with my spending. For me, the week of... I didn't gather my supplies quite as thoroughly as I should have before starting this video. But for me, week 6 of June is June 23rd through June 29th. So that's the transactions we're looking for in my flexible spending. And for those weekly videos, for me, it's my groceries, dining out, transportation, art, and miscellaneous. And those are the things I track because those are the things where my spending can get very out of control, and maybe not out of control. Yeah, if I'm not paying attention, they get out of control, even when I am paying attention sometimes. But it is the area that tends to fluctuate the most week after week, month after month. And so that's the thing I need to check week after week. And so this week, this 2-page spread here is not just this week. This is actually the entire 6 weeks for me. And when I set the page up, I set it backwards. I like to start with the right-hand page, and a lot of these you'll see is only on the right-hand page. I'm right-handed. It's a little bit easier than trying to fight with the binding on the book. Neither here nor there, but I have week 1, 2. My week 3 was a lot of transactions and carried over here. Week 4, week 5, and here we are down at the very bottom in week number 6. So as you can see, not much to speak of in this week. So on the 23rd, which was Friday, I did go to Walmart and spend $41.12 in groceries. And I'm going to need to start doing a better job of actually trying to keep my receipts and or making notes as I come home, because at this point I'm not really 100% certain what all was in that transaction. And I do kind of like to list out some of the basics of what that is, partly for you guys to know, and really for me to know if there's things within this budget or within this that I spent that perhaps I shouldn't have, or maybe needed to think twice on. Just kind of as an awareness for me. Then on the 26th, also in the groceries category, I went to Kroger and I only spent $14.28 on that. Then on the 27th, in the transportation category, I did fill up the tank of gas, and I put $35 even in the gas tank on that on the 27th. And then the very last transaction I have is also in the transportation category, and that was buses, which was only $2 for me. Again, my schedule was very weird this week, and I work retail, so in all honesty, it can fluctuate all over the place. But it had been very consistent for a very long time where I was working Sunday through Thursday. But this week I had Sunday and Monday off, and now I'm working Friday and Saturday. And so I did not need to take the bus on Monday. I did take it on Tuesday and Wednesday, but it was storming on Thursday, so I had to drive the car. And then, of course, Friday starts my next week. So I just had those 2 bus trips, and again, $1 each way. So that is it for my flexible spending. I then flip the page and I carry over my totals. I give myself a specific amount for the month, and I break that down week by week. And here at week 6 is what I had left. See, when I set this page up, I was very smart, and I started from the left and worked my way to the right, because I knew for sure that was going to take both sides. This flexible spending, I should have known for sure it was going to take both sides, but I was very optimistic that I was going to not need 2 pages in my 6 weeks, silly girl. Of course you do. All right, so here we are on week 6, the groceries I have. And I had given myself a total of $110 a week for groceries, for a total of $660 a month. This week, I only spent $55.40 on groceries in those 2 transactions, one at Walmart and the second one at Kroger. Last week, I had $61.09 left in that estimated category, which meant I have $5.69 that I did not spend. Woohoo! I was under budget. Dining out, for the second week in a row, I had 0 transactions, which is nice. I also didn't have any money that I had the potential to dine out in, but that's a whole nother story. So nothing in there. I was already negative $25.49 in this week, so I'm still negative $25.49 in that category here. And you'll see I ended up that in week number 4. So week 5 and week 6, there was no dining out 2 weeks in a row. So see, I can do it. I just don't like to do it. And then in my transportation, I had the 1 fill up and the 2 bus trips, which was a total of $37. When I finished out week 5, I had $35.27 left in my estimated budget, which was a total. I had estimated 4 fill ups and then some buses, giving myself $160 for the month in my gas. And so I had $35.27 left at the end of week 5. I spent $37, so I actually was over budget by $1.78, which I'm not upset about. I'm actually surprised I didn't need to put gas in at least one more time in that entire pay period, so that's fantastic. Then in my art, I didn't spend, I had given myself $10 a week for a total of $60 a month for this 6-week month, and I didn't spend anything in that. And in my art category, you'll notice this month I only had this 1 week, and it actually was a single day where I went to 2 separate places to buy stuff in relation to the art. And so I did not spend any last week. I still had that $41.12 in that category left, so that's awesome. That does show me I need to do a little more. I need to do my months kind of project by project versus having just like some random number that is my estimate for the month. This does not need to be consistent week after week, month after month. This needs to be based on the project at hand. If I have a project that I know I need more supplies in, I need to give myself a larger budget. If I have a project that I know I've got most of the things, I need to give myself a smaller budget for that. So that's a lesson learned, and we'll have to just move forward with a little bit more awareness in that category. My miscellaneous, I gave myself the same amount as in art, $10 a week for a total of $60 this pay period. You'll see I did not spend anything in this category again this month. Thankfully, I didn't need to this week, and I didn't need to last week. I had done a lot of miscellaneous spending early in the month and wasn't needing to at the end of the month. And again, there wasn't the funds to do so at the end of the month. So maybe, you know, what's the cause and what's the effect at that point? So the week prior, I had finished out, as you can see, negative $70.05. And I didn't spend anything, so I finished out negative $70.05 in that category. Now, negative 70. I mean, $70 doesn't sound like a lot, but then when I remind myself that that's on top of the $60 I had spent, that's now $130 in that category. Clearly, things happened here I hadn't planned for. Things are going to happen here that I don't plan for. So maybe I need to plan a little bit better for the potential and give myself a greater budget there. There were a lot of very weird one-off kind of things that happened within this 6-week period that should never happen again. But, you know, there's always going to be something like that. So at the end of the week, in the 2 things I ended up spending any money at all in, I only spent $92.40 for the week. And then if I carry all of my totals down, it does look like I've actually gone over budget for the entirety of the month by $50.46. And again, I'm really not upset that this is negative $50. This month, we're still only 2 months in. So we're still in a huge learning phase, number one. Number two, this was a 6-week month, 3 paychecks, which again, I don't know what normal is yet, so this really messed with me. And then if you watched my Debts and Desires video, you will already know that there were a lot of very crazy things with high dollar amounts that have happened immediately. You know, every one of my videos I say, and I haven't really said it yet, but I'm going to say it now. Oh, I did say it once, that I am somebody who lives paycheck to paycheck, being one life event away from financial crisis. That's not just some catchphrase because I think it's cute, because it's not cute. That is very much my reality. And it's the reality I want to change. I want to plan for those life events. But this month I had 3 things that came up that have to be dealt with, that are life events. I have a car repair that needs to happen at $3,000. I have, $3,440 if we want to get down to the brass tacks. I have the U-Haul stuff I'm still trying to get shipped, and that isn't new necessarily, but it's definitely something that is a huge life event that is going to put me in financial crisis. And that is $2,667 to get that stuff moved here, and then the cost of movers to take it out of the boxes and get it up the stairs into my apartment. And then the third thing that happened is that there is a surgery that is a necessary non-elective surgery, not emergency surgery, but a necessary surgery that can't be put off. And after we had scheduled it and planned it and knew it was coming, we then found out the copay is going to be $2,000, and half of that has to be paid ahead. So right in the middle of this week, this month, we're juggling all of that. So that impacts the funds available this month, and it's going to impact the funds available next month. So there wasn't anything to spend in my budget because it had to get moved into other areas. Now that will come back and be available later at these budget things, and for that I'm so grateful. You guys have no idea. If this had happened to me 3 years ago, I don't know what I would have done. There's no way I could have planned around that. And now I'm at a point where I can plan around it. It's very, very uncomfortable, but I can plan around it and not be an actual crisis. So that's it for my week 6 check-in. So that's where we're at with all of my flexible spending for the entirety of the month. And I just went over a little bit. So now I'm going to flip and we're going to go over my paycheck number 3 check-in and see what that looks like, and talk about where I found some of the money for the things that I was telling you were going to need to happen. So here we are. That's paycheck number 2. We want to go here to paycheck number 3, and you'll see I filled out everything already. I'm not covering it up. So those of you who want to look ahead can go ahead and look ahead. But I am I am an hourly employee, not salary, and I work full-time, which in my job can be anywhere from 32 to 40 hours. I create my estimates at a 38-hour work week. And so when I do this estimate, I take my dollars per hour, which is $20 an hour, and I times it times 38 hours, times 2 weeks in the paycheck, and then I take out 25% for my taxes. And when I do that, my estimate is $1,140. This pay period, I actually did get more. I got $1,252.52. And that increase is, I did finally get a very small annual raise. I'm now making $2.85 an hour. So not a huge raise, but enough that it definitely made an impact. And then I did get a little bit more than 38 hours each week. I got 39.4 or something like that each week, whatever it is. That does mean I finished out at $112.52 more than I had budgeted for. Now, the thing that I noticed when I got this extra 85 cents is my taxes also went up. I have said a few times that I estimate 25% to come out at my taxes, but it's something like 2270 that really comes out, or some odd number. This time, now that I have that extra 85 cents in there, it was 24.1%. So my 25% estimate is very, very close to accurate, uncomfortably close to accurate. So I expect next month and the months going forward, as I change my estimate from 20 to 20.85 an hour and take away my 25%, there's going to be less overage than there was this month and than there was the month before. So we'll see how that plays out. Also, I recently finally updated my address for work. And when that happened, my insurance changed, because where I had been previously, I had Kaiser was an option for coverage, and Kaiser is a less expensive coverage. So of course I chose that, but it's not an option here. So I had to choose the other coverage type, which costs more. But honestly, they didn't switch it over automatically. It looks like they may have canceled my insurance since Kaiser's not here. So we'll see how that plays out in my first and second check. I received something in the mail that looked like it got canceled, but when I spoke to somebody on the phone, they said that it just carried over to whatever was equal there. So we'll see how that really plays. But this number is going to get a little bit inconsistent as we start into July while I figure all of that out. Then we have my fixed expenses, which the things that were supposed to fall within this 2-week pay period was my phone at $236.51, and unfortunately this is where I had to rob Peter to pay Paul. I did not pay my phone bill this month. I did set up a payment arrangement to address that coming in July, and that's already set up. But I did need to take this $236.51 and reprioritize that right now. My phone bill is very important to me. It's also very expensive, and it is one I could adjust, and I knew that going in. Initially, when I set up my budget a million years ago at this point, I knew there was a possibility if I was getting my U-Haul stuff in, like I said, 2667 plus movers, I knew there was a possibility things were going to have to shift and do this domino thing for a little bit. So that happened. So that I am over, or I guess I spent less by $236.51. So that's green, even though it's not ideal. My U-Haul, that was a total of 3 boxes. So as you recall, I pay for 1 on the 16th and 2 on the 28th. And so that was covered in all that pay period. So that was no difference. My subscription, I knew that was coming out. That was $10.82. And this Best Buy is a virus coverage for my phone, and that was $5. It was estimated to be $5. That one actually did end up being $5.42. So I was over by 42 cents there. So when I carry these numbers, this $236.51 I did not pay, and this 42 cents I had to pay over, leaves me with $236.09 extra money in this fixed income. Again, is this the proper way to do your budget? No, but that money was needed to fix a life event or to help a life event. and I can pick that up later. It was the only option that could be picked up later. If I didn't pay my U-Haul, guess what? I no longer have to worry about having that stuff shipped here because they're going to sell it. So that wasn't an option. And then, of course, when you're on a subscription, you don't get to just cancel. It's a contract you signed, just like when I sign a contract to pay my credit card, and you can't mess with that. And then this $5.42, $5 not helping me out to save it or lose it, so let that go. This virus protection is important enough to spend $5.42 even in a life crisis event. Now, in the past, when I've had something like this come up, I would have not called the phone company ahead. Well, I actually didn't call them, I went online, but I would not have made arrangements ahead of time. In the past, little ostrich would have stuck her head in the sand and ignored the whole thing, and then the phones would have been disconnected. Then I would have had to pay a reconnect fee. And when I do that, do I reconnect it a week and a half later? No, ma'am. I reconnect it 20 minutes after it's turned off. Or I make a payment arrangement 20 minutes after it's turned off, and then they turn it back on based on my payment arrangement. But guess what? That's a reconnection fee of $20 per line at 4 lines. This little ostrich learned how to not spend $80 that don't need to be spent. So, yay me. This sucks, but I learned a lesson previously that is carrying me through here. Anyway, moving along. My flexible spending, remember I budgeted $110 a week, so for this pay period, that's $220. I spent $146.08, which means I was under budget by $73.92. Yay, saved some money. Let me tell you, the Old Mother Hubbard's cupboard is pretty bare, but we made it through, and there's still, I could list off probably 4 different meals that we could still make, but it's not pizza, it's not Mexican food. Those are the only things that I can think of that are like really yummy and looking forward to foods. There's a million other things we could use as an example, but those are the ones. And then dining out, look at that, woohoo! This girl who hates to cook did not go out and eat when the budget was tight. Yay me! In the past, I still would have done that. I would have not fixed the groceries. I would have not evaluated what was in my cupboard. I would have been, oh, I'm just going to go out just this once, which would turn into just this 10 times. So I'm proud of that. We'll see how long, once the purse strings loosen up again, can I continue to reduce that? Because I still don't like to cook, even when I'm forced to actually have to cook. So this little dining out, this one I beat myself up over and over again, because it's the area I feel like is just the biggest absolute waste of my money. But I also know I hate to cook. So this is a lifetime of poor choices that are just, such a struggle. Transportation, I had originally only budgeted a single fill up in this pay period, and I did have to fill up twice, but I also had originally estimated a single fill up on paycheck number 1, and that did not happen. So this extra one is just from earlier in the month. So for this budget, I did overspend by $36.83. Again, my art, nothing. My miscellaneous, nothing. Both of those I estimated $10 a week for a total of $20 this pay period. So adding all of that up, I saved myself $127.09 in my flexible spending. Woo, go me, because I needed that to really be somewhere else. So if we carry all of these totals down, that means I am left at the end of this pay period actually having $719.40 that did not get spent from this pay period in this budget, which was $475.70 more than I initially thought I was going to have. Now, I'm going to tell you that when we take this $719.40 that I had at the end of this pay period and add it to this $262.76 that I had left over from last pay period, that left me with $982 in coins, and I had to use $970 of that to go to one of my 3 life events. That will come back into my budget towards the end of July. This actually is going to, that $970 is going to go out, come back in, go back out, come back in, I think go back out one more time and come in a third time. So like every week it's doing this bobbing thing where it finally comes back to me, which that is the plan I was telling you earlier. I'm so pleased that number one, I had it, that number two, I was aware enough of what was going on in here to make that. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm sorry, you guys. I have allergies. I apologize. It's driving me nuts. But that is a huge win for me, as much as it also was a frustrating failure. And I say that with quotes for me. I have said in every one of my videos, one paycheck away from, or one life event away from financial crisis. I feel like a broken record. I say it over and over and over again. It's not changing. It hasn't changed. 2 months doesn't change that. 2 years will probably change that. But that is a huge part of where I'm at. I can't say that any differently than the way I do. So sorry, broken record. But that is my week 6 flexible spending check-in and my paycheck number 3 check-in. And so with that, we've taken care of 2 of my 4 videos that I need to finish out for this month. The next one I will need to be doing is my entire month closeout, and then again my my successes and my wins. And that video I'm going to have to pull really deep for this month. Those of you again who watched my Debts and Desires video know that this has been a very challenging month, and it's going to be, I'm going to have to really search hard and focus hard on those wins, because they're there. I just gotta actually look at them, gotta shine the light on them. So the other thing, I go over my craft at the end of this video, and I've already gone over the fact that all of this for this month is complete. There is no more progress to show you on this project, but I did want to talk about something that just a topic that's on my mind. I feel like those who aren't crafters might be interested in hearing. Maybe those who are crafters are also interested in hearing, but I feel like those people kind of are familiar with what I'm about to talk about. And that is, why did it take me 6 weeks to finish this project? It's a simple project, right? You just sew one little seam and it's all done. The pillow's done. Another one little seam and the blanket's done. Why did that take 6 weeks? And so I want to talk about some of the misconceptions that people who aren't artists or craftsmen aren't aware of. And that's the simple amount of time anything takes to do, number one, and to do well, number two, and to have to back up and correct your errors, number three. That is something that is very important to me, and anybody who does crafts, art, tradesmen, woodworking, cabinetry makers, you know, any of those of us who have a unique skill, those things take, number one, a long time to develop. And when we're good at what we do, I hesitate saying that because it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn and bragging on myself to be like, I'm so good. But quality matters. And when quality matters, you're going to redo and you're going to back it up, and it can't be mass manufactured. And at no point was I following any kind of pattern or plan. This was all things that I had to figure out what I wanted to do, then figure out how I was going to do it, and then do it and find out it didn't quite work that way, and then undo it and come up with a new plan. And that's a whole lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so that's why this one super simple project took 6 weeks to finish instead of 1. And I just want those of you who don't know, but who do know, how do I want to say this? Why do I stumble over my words so much? those of you who know craftspeople, I do a lot of crafts with my sewing machine. People see I sew, people hear me get excited about my sewing, and they go, well, I have a pair of pants I need to have hemmed. That is not, that's not what I want to do when I want to do something for you. It's not, I don't want to hem your pants. I want to make a memory. I want to make something beautiful. Can I? Yeah, I could. But also, what am I trying to say? Maybe I won't say, maybe I'll stop because I didn't think about that so clearly. But I want to, what is the point I'm trying to make? That a lot of times people think this is quick and it's easy and it's cheap, and it's not. And I just want to talk about why there's the value that is a dollar value, is because of the time and the skill and the knowledge. And when you have those people in your life, in your close circle or your extended circle, know that they have put a lot of time and care to grow their craft and to perfect their craft. And when quality matters, then the time and the money comes with that. And I think with that, I'm going to end tonight's video and hopefully get it posted today. Then I'm going to see about getting my month closeout in that other video going for you so that I can hurry up and get July started, because July has started. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. And wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, please have some fun. Okay? Thanks. Bye-bye now.